Hey everyone, Travis here on day 3, week 7 of the North American LCS League of Legends Championship Series here with Dominate from Team Curse. Dominate, you guys went 3-1. This is a record for Curse, at least for a while. You guys have been struggling, and now you're able to pull out a pretty good week. What do you think, really contributed to that? Was it just that you had GG easy opponents, or was it that you guys are just really good in this meta? What's happening here?
I don't think that there's like any huge like breaking point that happened that really made us a stronger team. I think that we've just been practicing this whole time, and we've been really disappointed with our results. Like, our results have not matched how strong of a team that we are, and it's really been frustrating for us. And like, that's kind of why we did the social media blackout, because just hearing like all the negativity on top of just like feeling bad because you're losing was really getting to us. But yeah, we've just been working at it, and we've always been winning the majority of our scrims. So I feel like now we're finally translating it to on land, and we're actually being able to play aggressively like on land. Like, I'm not afraid to just walk up in their jungle and just fight anyone, which is kind of like our style, like Curse signature style. It's not the most calculated thing ever. It's more just like brute force, and we're kind of trying to become smarter about the game once we have advantages. But you need to be able to brute force on some level to get those advantages. So. Yeah.
Well, early game there, we saw a bunch of brute force from you guys, obviously coming out with a ton of kills, leaving CLG with none. And then about halfway through, it looked like CLG was going to come back. Did you guys start to sort of freak out, or did you even feel that sense of like, okay, gold's getting a lot closer?
Yeah, we definitely just re-strategized in game. We had to accept the fact that we were going to have to fight them at some point to win. And even though we ended up like sneaking a Baron, we really concentrated on how we could fight the fights better. And one thing that we'd been doing was we'd kind of been focusing on like one target and not trying to use like the AoE that we had with Orianna Ball, Orianna ulti into like Jinx Rocket. That can instantly kill like almost an entire team if you land it correctly. And we just had to focus not so much on just like killing the front line and just like keeping the ball out there, zoning the back line, and looking for these opportunities to AoE everyone.
Nice. And yeah, obviously we saw that end up coming through. Do you think that how do you think of CLG's play that game? Because a lot of people, CLG fans in particular, are, they see him and they go like one great game, one really bad game, and so sometimes it feels like they're really great, really bad sometimes. Do you think that they were really bad in that game, or do you think that you guys they played pretty well and you guys just outplayed them?
I don't know if they played like particularly well for them. I know CLG is a strong team, but I definitely think we outplayed them that game. We just had a lot more pressure than they did. We had Elise into Jarvan, and personally, I hate Jarvan. And actually, from talking with Dexter, like days before, like last week and stuff, he agreed with me that Jarvan was the worst champion, and we hate Jarvan. So I was surprised that he ended up picking it when we had like Lee Sin, Eve. You have all these picks up that are top tier junglers. And I guess he kind of just wanted it because we had Orianna and Jinx, so we had low mobility, so the Cataclysm is very good against that. But yeah, in retrospect, I don't think it was a good pick. Elise can outpressure Jarvan hard, and there's literally no fear to walk in their jungle at any point. Because I know that if he fights me at any point and I'm able to repel his EQ, that means that I'm able to fight him after that and win the fight. So it just gave me like free reign to do whatever I want. I was like counter jungling his double golems freely, which is like kind of risky in most situations, but just against a Jarvan, you don't really feel the pressure that you do when you're playing against like an Eve or a Lee Sin.
Now, in last splits, or former splits, we've seen there be a very big difference in a score between the top teams and the bottom teams, or the teams that were behind the rankings early on. This split, we don't see that much. Do you think that there's a chance you guys could finish like first or second?
I don't think we could finish first or second in the regular season, just because I think they have like maybe like a 5-6 game lead on us, and like if they continue winning games like Dig or CLG, it'll be hard to catch them. But I definitely think we could potentially be one of the two strongest teams going into playoffs, and that's really what matters. You need to get to playoffs, and you need to be playing well at playoffs, because that's where everything that's where the world's spots are decided. That's where relegation is decided. So you need to just be strong going into those games, and I think we will be. I'm really confident that we're going to keep on improving, and even if we do end up in like 5th or 6th, I still think that we'll be strong in the playoffs, and I don't think any team wants to play us right now.
For Xpecial, I had spoken to him yesterday and just asked, like this week seemed pretty good for you guys. Was there any major change that you guys made? And obviously now we've seen another win under your belt. Is there any big change, like Are you picking more champions that you kind of like are comfort picks for you guys? What's really happening here to lead to these?
I just feel like we're more confident in general. The whole time we'd been saying play like scrims, play like scrims, and then we'd go to LCS and you'd look at our games and we were just scared like most of the game. If there was always like a passive call and an aggressive call, we'd side with the passive call maybe like 80% of the time in LCS. Where in scrims, we're always like, oh yeah, try it. Like if it doesn't work out, we'll stop doing it. But we're always ready to just go ham. And yeah, I feel like we've always been working on our vision control. We knew that was like kind of like our weak point, contesting buffs and just like playing out like a solid controlled game. So we've always been working on that, and then now we're able to just play more aggressively at LCS. I think it just like comes from like an atmosphere thing. Like this week we felt a lot more relaxed. Like just on the way to the studio, like in the shuttle, we're all joking, we're all like in a good mood, and then when it gets to the game, it's like, all right, let's shit on them. Like that's the mentality, and we're just like all really pumped and just like really focused on just winning our lanes, and just pressuring them and trying to make teams fear us. And I think that's like really working for us right now.
When Expecial had first joined your guys' team, it seemed as though he wasn't really playing up to the standard that he had shown previously, and a lot of people were sort of feeling like maybe he was past his prime, or maybe he was carried by Turtle or something along those lines. But lately, we've seen him be very strong. Do you think that that's just sort of him fitting more into the team lately, or do you think that's just like sort of comes along with that whole confidence thing that you're talking about?
I mean, I just think it's like the difference between winning and losing. When you're losing, you're never going to be looking good because you have to play defensively. You can't throw out as many hooks. Like you don't have as many opportunities. So that's why like if a team's like the best team at NA, like for example Cloud9, all of those players are automatically the best players in their role in NA. That's like how everyone talks about it. Like Meteos is the best jungler, Balls is the best top laner, High is like one of the best mid laners, Sneaky's one of the best AD carries, Lemon's the best support. That's just how it works when you win and you lose. And when teams were losing, like for example XDG, it's like, oh well, Zune is the worst jungler and ManCloud's the worst mid laner. It's just how the community sees it, because when you win, you just look a lot better than when you lose. So yeah, we were losing a lot of games, so all of us just looked bad. And if you read a Reddit thread, it was like, well, Dom's the worst jungler in LCS, and Expecial is the worst support in LCS, and Voy is terrible at mid, and like it just keeps on going. So it really has to just do with winning and losing. It's so hard to look good when you're losing. Like maybe every now and then you can play really well and like the other side of the map can just lose and you can look good, but it's really rare. So I just think that it's just community perception, and that's why it doesn't matter, and that's why we don't read it anymore.
You have any shout outs, plugs, anything you want to say to any of those fans who you don't read what they're writing anymore, Dominate?
Well, I do read positive comments. Like after we win, we'll look at our Twitter. It's mainly like a social media blackout when it comes to like negativity and things that we know will be negative. So yeah, I definitely still care about my fans. We all definitely still listen to the positivity. We're just trying to avoid letting that get to our heads, and since it was affecting us, that's why we ended up doing it. And definitely shout out to all of our sponsors: Cooler Master, Nissan, Curse, Alienware, Energems, LawPro, Absolute LoJack, and Azubu.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for the interview, Dominate. It's been really fun to watch you guys play so well this week. You've had some very interesting games, I guess is a good way to put it. You can check out the rest of our coverage of all things LCS at ongamers.com.